Pope Francis was outspoken about the war, speaking and acting in support of the families of the hostages kidnapped by Hamas. Today, 59 hostages are still believed to be in captivity. And many of their loved ones are holding an event in their names right now in Tel Aviv. Joining me now is Rachel Goldberg Polin and John Polin, the parents of Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg Polin, who was abducted by Hamas and later killed. First, thank you both so much for being with us. And Rachel, I know you actually met with Pope Francis here at the Vatican, and that he commented many times, many months later, that he thought of you often and that he was struck by your humanity. So I wonder, as you now reflect on the Pope's passing, what you're feeling.
Well, I felt extremely privileged and really honored to have the opportunity to meet with the Holy Father back in November of 2023. That was right after our son Hersh had been kidnapped and was gravely wounded and being held by Hamas. And something that Pope Francis said to us at that meeting when he heard what had happened to our loved ones is he said, "What you have experienced is terrorism, and you must remember that terrorism is the absence of humanity." And it was such a concise but wise statement, which gave all of us the hope to continue to believe in the ability of humanity to fix this horrible situation that all of us in our battered region are experiencing. And we actually corresponded with each other 4 more times after that. And when Hersh was killed the last day in August, we actually heard that the Holy Father recited 2 weeks later in the Angelus prayer. He mentioned Hersh by name and he mentioned me. And it was really touching that it was something that spoke to him so strongly. And we really felt the appreciation of that immense humanity that he held.
I have to say, as I was looking at those pictures again of him meeting you and the other families, he clearly was hurting. He was not walking strongly, but he made a point to say something, it seems, to each of you, to shake your hands, to go around the room, however slowly. And I wonder, when you look back on that personal moment, if there is something about him that you remember.
I just know that he was so moved. In fact, he was moved to tears several times during that meeting. There was one of the hostages, their mother went to school with Pope Francis in Argentina. And when he heard her name, it brought tears to his eyes. He remembered her. When I showed him, I stood up and went over to him in that video after he made the round to meet all of us. And I showed him the video of Hersh's abduction. And he was horrified to see Hersh had his left arm blown off below the elbow, and we have a video of that. And when he saw that, he was just aghast, and you really felt that he empathized. He didn't just sympathize, and it wasn't just with us. I think that what's so special about Pope Francis is he had the ability to feel the suffering of all innocents. He didn't choose sides. He didn't make allegiances. He was able to say, anyone who is in pain, I can see and feel your pain.
John, you and Rachel dedicated yourselves after Hersh was taken to keeping him and the other hostages in the public eye. It's not an easy thing to do. Do you think Pope Francis in some way changed the way people viewed not just the conflict in the Middle East, but specifically the suffering of the hostages and those who love them?
Well, picking up on what Rachel was just saying about that meeting, I think what Pope Francis really contributed to the hostage story was that these are human beings. It's incredible how many meetings we've been in with global leaders, influencers, And we feel like we have to say to them, this is not a game. These are not chess pieces. This is not just a global strategy challenge. These are human beings. And Pope Francis is somebody who got that right away. He always looked straight into the humanity of this. And that permeated, as Rachel said, he spoke about it publicly numerous times. And I think that that really helped put a human face on this terrible situation.
John, I wonder what your hope is, if you have one, for the next pope, and the importance maybe that he shares these same ideals of advocacy that clearly he lived every day.
Absolutely. The hope is that the next pope will really continue on the legacy of Pope Francis from that standpoint of real, genuine concern, ability to show emotion, ability to put the human face on things. Right now, much of the world is just focused on mourning the loss of the Pope. But I hold out some hope that maybe just change, and this is not indicative of Pope Francis's actions, but maybe change in and of itself can spur something. We saw it when a new U.S. administration came in, that change drove to a deal to happen. And I have to hold optimism that here also, the next pope will carry on the legacy and maybe even move the ball forward even further and save the remaining 59 hostages and bring calm to this region.
I share that hope with you, Rachel and John, and I thank you for being absolutely unwavering and never tiring in your support, not just of Hersh, but all of the hostages and the families. Thank you so much.